Hi guys, welcome back to Gathered. Let's talk about sewing. Today let's talk about my April sewing plans. I have a lot, a lot, and I might not get through all of them, but it's good to set the bar high, so let's talk about it. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to be making a pair of jeans, hopefully. I'm going to be making the Deer & Doe Safran jeans, and I'm really excited because I haven't made jeans in a while, and I like this pattern because it doesn't have a yoke, and I think that yokes can be kind of tricky to fit sometimes, and they can be tricky to sew, and it's just an extra row of top stitching that maybe I could avoid, so I'm excited about that. I also really like the lines on this pattern. Specifically, I like the pockets, the front pockets. They have this nice diagonal that's pointing upwards, and I like that it creates an A-line. Maybe that leads away from the hips, the eye away from the hips, and I really like that. Fabric that I'm going to be using is going to be this denim. It has stretch. I measured the stretch on just my own, and the stretch I think is about 30%, which is what the pattern calls for. I'm going to be making a size 42, I believe, and from the measurements it looks like I fit exactly into 42 size. The difference between my waist and my hips is pretty much what Deer & Doe tends to account for, so I'm excited for that. And the lining is going to be this fabric. This is just a regular cotton woven that has some stretch in it. And I know that it's not necessary for the pockets to have stretch, but I always like to have a little bit of stretch no matter what, just because I like that when there's some give. So I really like this really cute one with planes on it. Actually, this is a remnant in my stash. I originally used it for my very first pair of boxers that I made for my husband. One of the requests when I was making the pair of boxers was that they actually have some stretch to it, and it's actually surprisingly difficult to find woven with stretch in it, or at least for me it was difficult. Maybe if you have a site that you go to for that kind of stuff, let me know in the comments below, because I've had a lot of trouble finding, specifically just searching for a woven that has some elastane in it. Next up, I will be making the Carolyn pajamas, Caroline, by Closet Case patterns. I have not decided yet what size I'm going to be making, but I think the fabric requirements are very similar. So for this pattern, I chose a quilting cotton, and it does not have elastane in it. I know I said I wanted elastane in my cottons, but not this one. I really like the print, so I think I'll forgive it for not having any stretch to it. Does it have some lint? I can't tell. And I was originally considering putting piping on this pajama, but I decided against it because I think the pattern, if these pattern drawings were white, having white piping would be very sharp, but since it's hard to find the right color match for this piping and I wasn't sure what color I would pick for it, I decided just to avoid the whole headache and try this pattern first without any piping at all and see how that goes. And you know, I think that might just save me some time. I'm already short on time. I'm constantly racing the clock in between my baby's naps, and it's nice when things are a little bit more streamlined. So I think I'm going to avoid piping the first time around, and maybe the second time around I will add piping if things go well this time. I also am not typically a pajama person. I normally wear like a t-shirt and leggings to bed, maybe socks. I don't know, I like things to be kind of flexible, free, but I really want to be a pajama person. I really want to look good when I get out of bed in the morning. I don't want to look, I don't know, I feel like I look like I don't know, I was just moving bricks or something when I get up in the morning. And it'd be great if I looked like I was moving bricks, but maybe in a better set of pajamas. I don't know. That'd be great. Okay, so that fabric is washed and it has not been ironed. So I'll iron it and then that'll be ready to go. Next up, so this is one of the first patterns that I decided to do once I got my sojo back, but it has been sitting in my stash for a few weeks now. Not because I don't want to make it, but because I satisfied my itch for a t-shirt with this t-shirt pattern. That was a PDF pattern while I was waiting for this one to arrive. So I will get around to it. I'm hoping in April. I really like the cut of it. The fact that it has like a yoke on it. I love that. I probably won't make the dress version because when I'm breastfeeding, that's just not really feasible. So I think I'm going to make the t-shirt version. And I bought 2 matching fabrics to use for the color blocking. Let me show you. Okay, so for the top block, I'm going to be using a solid color, and it's just this jersey. Actually, I have it up pinned because I already ironed it. This is the fabric that I originally got, and I pre-washed and I ironed because the pre-wash just completely threw all of the weft out of whack. It's just like a navy with a slight teal to it. It's called navy. I would like to disagree with that. It definitely has some green to it, which I think navy shouldn't. So that's going to be the upper half, and then the bottom half is going to be this matching striped cotton jersey. It does have elasting. Both of these have elasting in them, which is good because I don't want it to stretch out. I think with the elasting will give it some good recovery. It's this one. So this one's 4-way stretch, and yeah, I mean obviously both of them are. Duh. So I'm excited for this one because, and I think I'm gonna try to have some minimally matching stripes along the sleeve and the body. I'm definitely making the long sleeve version, not the tank top. So I'm just looking at the monitor, checking that the baby's still okay. Great. I'm excited for this one, even though it's kind of a boring color combination. I mean, I don't know. If I look at my closet, most things I have bought or made have been navy or blue stripe or something on the blue family. I mean, this is purple, but this is a huge step outside of my normal color palette. So, you know, so far all the things I've showed you have been in the blue color family, and, you know, I'm okay with that. I just like blue. I don't know why, I just love it. So that's going to be that. Okay, so the next one is no surprise. It is going to be more of my favorite t-shirt pattern. So this is that t-shirt pattern. I made a couple more. I love it. I think it's just such a good basic to have in your closet. I really don't see why I shouldn't be making more of them. I'm not the kind of person to restrict myself on how many of a certain pattern I make, mostly because I almost never do that, which is bad because, you know, we spend money on these patterns and it's good to get as much use out of them as we can. So now that I found a pattern that I actually can do that with, I will. And t-shirts are the kind of thing that I find are great when you're kind of losing your sojo. It's a really quick, great make that you know you will use a lot because it's a t-shirt. I mean, you can do anything with a t-shirt. You can wear under stuff, you could wear it to bed. If it's raggedy, you can wear it when you're in gardening. It's just, I mean, I know that this is like a random bunch of things activities that I just named, but hey, like you could use t-shirts for anything. And I think that they keep pretty well. So I'm gonna keep making them. So the next fabric that I'm gonna make that one out of is, you're gonna be so proud of me. It's going to be this green, although it's not coming out as green on camera, huh? I don't know, can you see that? It's It's like emerald colored. Actually, it's somewhere in between emerald and forest green, I would say, depending on the light. But it's just the same jersey as all the other jerseys that I bought. These are all from Stone Mountain and Daughter in Berkeley before they closed, before they closed their brick and mortar, should I say, to be exact, temporarily for the coronavirus quarantine. Crazy stuff. So this has not been pre-washed yet, and I'm pretty excited because I think even though it's not blue, it matches all the blue things I own. I mean, actually, this purple, green, this mustard that I've been making everything out of, they just all kind of go together, which again is good. Now that I'm back to sewing this year, that's something I really want to be more conscious about, is just really making sure that all the things I make actually go together. Because sometimes what I tend to do is I see something and I'm like, oh, I love that, and I don't think about how it fits into the rest of my closet. And that's not a problem just with sewing, it's a problem with like buying clothes as well, that I just really want to be more conscious about, because it creates less waste, to be honest. I mean that's logical that it does. That's just something that I want to keep in mind when I'm choosing fabrics and patterns, is that things coordinate better. Okay, so, and here are some odds and ends of fabrics that I have left over from other projects that I'm going to be probably in between those other things that I listed that I'm going to be making. I'm going to be making T-shirts, baby onesies, and baby footie pajamas. And so here's like this mustard jersey. It's just has a really good stretch. I really actually like the quality of this fabric. This is, I think, the best one of all of my jerseys that I bought, because it has the best recovery. And it feels very high quality. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's a good medium weight jersey. So I'm gonna probably making, I already made a t-shirt out of this, so I'll likely be making a footie pajama for babies out of this. And I'm not in love with the color. I wish the color was different, because mustard is not really my color. I already have kind of yellow undertones, although it's not, I don't know, don't trust the camera. I know you're watching a YouTube video on YouTube, but don't trust the camera. And then I have more of this color. This is the purple. This is like this royal purple that's a little faded and undersaturated for my taste. I know I'm naming a lot of things I don't like about the fabric. Obviously I bought it, so I love it. There's just some comments I have on my personal taste and how I would choose things differently if I could. And then, so I've already made a footie pajama out of this fabric, and it's a jersey with little bears in little suits. I don't know why some of those bears are naked. I don't know. Also, I'm itching my nose because my hair is in my nose, but I washed my hands. So stay away, coronavirus. I already made a footie pajama out of this one, and it is so cute. I will insert a photo right here. It's a little bit light, I would say. Let me show you. I don't know if you could tell that it's like see-through. No, you can't, but I can. It's like translucent. You know, it's not transparent, it's translucent, in that it's just a very light jersey. And I think the elasting content of it is slightly lower, so the recovery is not great. But I think babies go through clothes so quickly that this is like kind of the perfect thing to make baby clothes out of, because it's lightweight, it's easy to layer, and I don't feel really bad if he kind of wears it out really quickly, because in a few months it'll be obsolete. And you know, if it's still in good condition, I'll save it for someone else and pass it on, but if it's not a huge tragedy. So I've already showed you the onesie. The thing that I have not showed you is the pattern for the footie pajama. So let me show you that right here. Isn't that so cute? Oh my goodness. And then you can compare it to the photo. I made some mistakes in making that pattern, and I think that I'm excited to rectify those mistakes, and the next time I make this pattern. I will tell you that those studs are not easy to figure out, And not all studs are created equally, which I know is very surprising. I like the contrast studs that they have in this photo, and I think I'm going to continue with that, but I'm out of studs, unfortunately, so I had to order more of them. Once they come, I will definitely be making more. Oh, and one more thing that I don't have an envelope for, but I will definitely be making more of is in March I made a pair of boxers for my husband, and he really liked them, and I think I'm going to experiment with a lot of other different fabrics. I have some in the mail from Mood, because that's the only place where I could reliably find cotton wovens with stretch in them, which was the request. So he really wants something that has a little bit more give when he sits and he just walks around. So that was the rationale behind that. And I'm going to be making more boxers with the intent to insert better snaps. The snaps that I used on his boxers the first time, they were very, what's the word? I guess tough to unbutton. I don't know if there's a word for that, but they were just very, yeah, they were bigger snaps. And the smaller snaps that I used on the onesie were a lot easier to use. So I think I'm just going to go with that for his boxers next time once I get them. Hopefully they're as easy to unbutton and button. I also figured out the right way to install those snaps, and it involves a hammer. And I think that to me has been more reliable than the pliers. The pliers, because they're like scissors, so they end up working at an angle, and then you have to keep rotating the snap in order to even it out, and I think that distorts it a little bit and makes it function not the way it was intended to. Sometimes it's a little easier to unsnap, sometimes it's a little loose, sometimes the snaps are a little tight. Maybe tight is the right word I was looking for. I'm not an expert on snaps, but I feel like I'm quickly becoming one. Let me tell you, just practice those snaps. And often I think I'm going to be interfacing into where the snaps go, because often the fabric tears with the snaps, especially once you try to open it. Anyway, enough about snaps. Let me know what you think of my plans, and do you have any plans for April? I feel like sewing is going to be a really great hobby to maintain during this coronavirus quarantine. I feel like all sewists and crafters are like, yes, finally some time to craft. So I'm excited for all the crafting that everyone's going to be doing. I'm going to be stalking Instagram vigilantly. It's going to be great. So keep us posted, and hopefully I'll make some videos, some vlogs on my makes. Bye, take care.